Good morning and welcome everyone to the graduate school meet and greet. We'd hope to do this in person, but of course, given COVID-19 situations, that's not possible. But hopefully this will serve the same purpose of allowing you to get to know the graduate school and many of the resources that we hope to present to you at this time. So let me first start by sharing my screen. And I want to run you through a few slides to help me remember exactly what it is that I'd like to convey to everybody. First off, again, welcome. For those of you, many of you are new graduate students and may not, I want to try to give you a flavor of what it's going to be like to be a graduate student. So Washington State University is an R1 land grant institution. R1 is a Carnegie Mellon designation, which means we're a research intensive university. And that's why you're here for graduate school. Your research is going to be what you do for your thesis and dissertation. Land grant means that we're a special type of institution with a special commitment to the state of Washington and to the country as a whole for accessibility and affordability and serving the community. So again, emphasizing that graduate education is central to WSU's mission and to your graduate career. I also want to emphasize that you are the next generation of scholars and leaders. When you were undergraduates, you were reading textbooks. You will now be the people who are collecting the new information, the new exciting results, the new technologies, creating those, and writing the textbooks. So again, I want to emphasize you're embarking on an incredible journey of discovery, both of yourself and of new knowledge, the creation of new knowledge, new technologies. And I'll talk a little bit about that more, but don't be afraid of that. Be excited by this opportunity. So first, let me introduce a little bit about what does the graduate school do. We describe it as three different missions. First, we're involved in service to the students, the graduate students, you all, the faculty who will be your mentors and trainers, the academic programs, the colleges across the institution, and the institution as a whole. Part of this service involves oversight and advocacy. So by oversights, that means we're entrusted with the role of developing the standards and following the best practices of graduate education. And that's going to involve program review and assessment and administrative support of the graduate education. And hopefully by the time you completed your degree, you'll see that administrative support as helpful, not bureaucratic. We have a lot of policies and procedures, but those are there for a reason, generally to help students and help faculty do their best job in graduate education. We also serve as advocate for students and for graduate programs, both on campus, nationally, and globally. And our mission is to ensure the highest qualities of standards for the research enterprise of graduate students, including a commitment to inclusion, diversity, and academic integrity. So let me first, again, because we can't do this in person, I'm going to have to use pictures, but let me first introduce you to our team. So we've got Dr. Tammy Berry, who's an associate dean that does assessment and program overview. Raymond Herrera, who's our assistant dean in charge of the McNair Scholars Program, and also is our lead on recruitment of graduate students. And we also have Judy McDonald, who's an associate dean, who's our liaison to the Faculty Senate. So she's involved in a lot of policies and procedures and the graduate catalog and helping programs develop new graduate degrees or certificates. We've got a lot of staff in the graduate school, but I just want to highlight a few, the names you're most likely to run across. First, I want to acknowledge Joe Merrill, who I've gave him a promotion as soon as I became the dean to not my special assistant, but my super special assistant. He's also the manager of the graduate school. Oftentimes, if you need to schedule a meeting, you may need to go through Joe, who has access to my calendar. Next is Jenny Selagumba Graham, who is our director of student services. And in our student services team, we've broken that down into two groups. We have Debbie Sherrod, who leads the admissions team, and Daniel Vickerin, who leads the programs team. So you may have met Debbie and her team during your application admission process. Now that you've been in higher education term thrown over the fence and are officially enrolled as a graduate student, now you'll often interact with the programs team, which Daniel is the lead of. Adam Williams is our finance officer. So the funds for your assistantship, if you're on one, may come through your department, but the graduate school does a lot of administration of that. So Adam often is the person that that I will send you to, or Jenny may send you to, if you have a question about your assistantship. And also I want to introduce Cindy Hollenbeck, our communications coordinator, who I need to thank profusely for organizing all of this event and helping us do the shift from in-person to online. So thanks, Cindy. You will also be receiving, most every Friday, an email from the graduate school called Friday Focus. I know you're going to get a lot of emails and you're going to be tempted to ignore them. Friday Focus is our way to communicate with you, give you updates, let you know if assistantships are available, let you know what resources, for example, through the Professional Development Initiative are available. So at least take a couple minutes on every Friday morning and read your Friday Focus message from the graduate school. So just to give you a scope of graduate education at WSU, the graduate school serves students across all 10 colleges, and I've listed them here. Hopefully you'll recognize which college you're in. I'm not going to name them all. But again, we serve all graduate students, regardless of college, regardless of campus, or whether you're, for example, at an R&E center, research and extension center. If you're a graduate student, we're here to help you. So at WSU, there are about 46 doctoral programs and 67 master's programs, and about 23 graduate certificate programs as well, which don't lead to a degree, but give you credentials of specialization. Statewide, across our system, there are over 3,000 graduate students, and there are avenues for faculty at all the sites to participate in graduate education. Probably the easiest way to break this down in terms of numbers is how many degrees do we confirm? We don't have the numbers yet for the last academic year, 2019-2020, but for the year previous, we graduated over 300 doctoral degrees across the year and close to 670 master's degrees. One thing I do want to point out, we deal with graduate education, the professional programs, specifically the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, the Masters of Business Administration, the medical doctor, the pharmacy doctorate. Those are all handled by the professional programs in which, or the colleges in which that professional program is housed. Now, when we talk about the Graduate and Professional Student Association, GPSA, the professional students are part of that organization. So let me talk a little bit now, less about details and all that, and talk more philosophically about what's coming. You're going to transition from a student to a professional, a scholar, and a leader. No matter what career you follow after you pursue your graduate degree, you will in fact be a leader, whether it's a leader of a team, whether it's a leader of a full organization, a research lab, what have you. And so we want to make sure that you understand that you're not just the student and the pupil anymore. You're going to be the one, as I said, creating the new knowledge, doing the teaching, and leading. And that will look very different for other people. Part of your journey in graduate school will be to learn what are your strengths, what can you do, what makes you unique, where can you be most successful. But remember, even though this is a unique discovery journey for yourself, it's not a journey that you're going to take alone. There are a lot of resources here. I introduced you to some of the team at the graduate school. We're here to help you. You will find that your research mentor should be here to help you. And it's not just one mentor. You'll have a graduate committee of at least 2 other faculty, sometimes more, 3, 4 faculty, who have agreed to mentor you along your way through your scholarship and your research activities. You will have your program. There'll probably be a graduate coordinator of that program. If it's a department, there'll be a chair of the department. There are going to be a lot of people that you can go to for help. But the important part is, actually I skipped it, you have to ask for help. There's not going to be anybody that comes and knocks on your door and asks, hey, how are you doing? Do you need help today? There are a lot of people who will be there, and many of them we're going to see presentations from, who are here to help you when you ask for help. So that's 50% of the job. 50% of your job is to take ownership of your education and ask for help when you need it. And then it's our job to provide a welcoming environment that will provide that help when you need it. Okay, so I want to emphasize that again. Your responsibility is for your education and knowing what you need, or just that you need something, maybe not exactly what it is you need, but to ask for that help. And it's our job to make sure that you get what help is available to you. So hopefully many of you have at least started the online orientation. If you're enrolled, you should have access to the Blackboard system. That's our, what we call an LMS, a learning management system. You can access that at learn.wsu.edu. These will provide resources for you. It's designed primarily for students who are on a physical WSU location. It's not so much designed for students in the global campus, but hopefully there will be some useful information about WSU as a whole and other things that could be helpful to you. If you have gone into Blackboard and you don't see this course, shoot us an email, gradschool@wsu.edu. We should be able to help you get onto that online orientation. And again, a lot of it, hopefully you'll complete this week. The 5th module is more to fill out during your first week of classes or at the end of this week. But again, the resources there, the information there will be available for you your entire first semester. So we'll talk more about this, but when I talk about help and career, I wanted to make sure you knew about the Professional Development Initiative, which is a partnership between the graduate school and the GPSA. And again, the whole goal of this, why I want to emphasize this here, is we want to ensure that our students have the skills, knowledge, and the mindset that's necessary to succeed professionally and academically. So academically while you're here at WSU, and professionally as you go on to careers. And one of my strong beliefs is that the faculty should not be here to make mini-me's. So we've all gotten our PhDs or our masters and gone into academia. You have limitless opportunities of what you want to do as your career. Staying in academia, it's a pretty good job, but it's not the only job. And the PDI in part was set up to let students explore other career opportunities and how to apply for those careers. So I'll leave it to Bruce to tell you a lot more about this, but I wanted to use this to emphasize it again. You're not just here to get a degree. If you walk out of here with simply a diploma, I have failed you and you have not succeeded to your highest potential. You need to come away with a set of skills that are going to teach you to be a lifelong learner, a scholar, and curious about the world around you and a leader in that world. So I'm going to stop there. And let me just emphasize, if you have questions, a lot of the resources will be available on the graduate school website. Our general email, which will reach to the staff, is gradschool@wsu.edu. And you can always contact me as the Dean of the Graduate School at lmgloss@wsu.edu. Okay? And so now I'm going to turn this over, unless there are any questions that I should be answering. I know there's a chat function going on. And so hopefully we have some experts who are answering questions there. But at this point, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to switch to the resource team. And our first speaker will be Sam from the GPSA. And I've made a mistake.
Great.
I got it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lisa. Let's see.
Okay, hold on just a minute, Sam. I'm
Okay.
still having trouble finding my... Okay. There we go.
Great.
You ready to go, Sam?
Great. Thank you so much, Lisa. Hi, my name is Samantha Edgerton, and I'm the Vice President of the Graduate Professional Student Association, also known as GPSA. The purpose of GPSA is to act essentially as the representative body for the graduate and professional students at Washington State University. Our vision is to enrich the graduate and professional student experience academically, professionally, and socially while at WSU. Part of our duties include planning social activities, different student outreach opportunities, providing advocacy for the most prevalent concerns of graduate and professional students, as well as legislative events, both locally, regionally, and at the state level, as well as provide academic and professional support services like travel grants and so much more. This year actually marks a monumental event in the life of GPSA. It is actually in February of 2021 will actually be the 50th anniversary of GPSA as an organization. So even though we are faced with a highly unusual intro to this academic year, GPSA is working hard behind the scenes to ensure that we have a strong presence and to let all graduate students and professional students know that we are here to advocate on their behalf. This year will certainly look a little different than prior years. A lot of Zoom specials, as well as essentially distance activities we have on board here. I would like to ensure everyone, though, that myself and on behalf of our executive board, that we are always reachable via email. And we will be hosting Zoom office hours as well. And we will be continuing to offer these resources throughout the year, especially things that GPSA is known for, such as travel grants are one of our most popular programs. As many people might have seen, advertisements have gone out. We are still hosting an ice cream special for our graduate and professional students. That is going to look a little different. Instead of hanging out and socializing, it's kind of more of a grab and leave. However, it's still an opportunity to ensure that GPSA is still working and acting on behalf of graduate and professional students. So if we can go ahead and switch to the second slide. This information here is another way that we are ensuring that graduate and professional students can reach us no matter what. We are working hard to update and continue with our social media presence. So please check out Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Essentially, our addresses on each are fairly similar, so it should be accessible. And as well as the emails up top here for the main office where we can be reached, as well as our president, Jen Johnson, vice president myself, and our vice president of legislative affairs, James Dalton. Again, we try to respond to you same day, if not within 24 hours. So any questions that you may have about our different programs, as well as our different types of funding options, such as RSO funding and, again, scholarships and grants, we will be happy to answer those questions. And again, please utilize social media as much as possible because we will be sending advertisements fairly regularly about different upcoming events that will hopefully try to maintain a good connection among our graduate and professional students, as well as offer opportunities in addition to advocacy and support, but also opportunities for fun in this unusual world. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Sam. And now we'd like to hear from Becky Meyer, who's going to tell us about Cougar Health Services.
Thank you, Lisa. My name is Becky Meyer, and I have served as a patient service representative for the last 5 years with Cougar Health Services. And I've just recently taken on the responsibilities of our student insurance specialist as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about our services here at Cougar Health Services. and then also the medical insurance that is provided to our graduate students on assistantship. Here at Cougar Health Services, we're a large comprehensive medical facility with a full staff of doctors and healthcare providers. We see about 250 patients per day. We do have the full medical clinic, pharmacy, vision clinic, counseling and psychological services, and health promotions, all here in our one building at the Washington building. At this time, we are asking all patients to call, not to walk in, due to infection control. And so we can be reached by email and by a phone Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And if we can go to the next slide, please, Lisa. Our medical services include same-day appointments upon availability. Sometimes during the flu season, we get very busy, so we do ask you to call and schedule those appointments to ensure that you're seen the day that you would like to be seen. We have services of laboratory and x-ray. Our x-rays are done by Pullman Regional Hospital as a service to us, but they are right here in our building. So we can take care of your broken bones if need be. We also do allergy injections. So if you're currently receiving allergy injections, you can have your allergist contact us and we can start taking care of those services for you at this time. We also offer travel medicine for those students that are able to travel. We have a travel doc that will research where you're going and provide you with educated information on what we believe immunizations that you should have or you should know about the area that you're going to. We have a nutritionist that's on our staff. So we do nutrition counseling. We have gynecological and sexual health services, as well as services for our transgender patients. We offer most immunizations. We have all of the recommended immunizations, but the only one the university requires is the MMR. You are required to provide documentation that you have received that immunization. Like I said, we have our vision clinic, and they do eye exams. They also have a great showroom of designer frameware. Or if you needed repairs done, stop by our vision clinic and they can help there as well for those. You can, at our pharmacy, you can fill prescriptions, you can transfer prescriptions, and I'll go into a little more detail with the pharmacy when talking about the medical insurance that's provided through assistantships, because that is kind of a tricky thing. Like I said, the biggest thing right now is to call us to schedule an appointment. We want to be here and we want to take care of you. So just give us a call if you have any questions or would like to schedule an appointment with us. And now I would like to move on to the medical insurance. I know that's kind of a hot spot. Everybody's waiting to get information on their medical insurance because it's new. And because it's new and enrollment is new, I have to ask our graduate students to have a little bit of patience. It does take time for the enrollment to get completed, but we are working on it, I promise you. So the WSU graduate students on assistantship are automatically enrolled. If you are on assistantship and you have been offered the medical insurance, it will be an automatic enrollment. You will not have to do anything. There's no paperwork you have to fill out. The medical coverage will be provided by United Healthcare Student Resources. Here at Cougar Health Services, you have a $0 deductible. If you choose to go outside of Cougar Health Services, we want to make sure that you see a United Healthcare provider. Seeing a United Healthcare provider, you will have a $500 deductible. If you do not see a United Healthcare contracted provider, you'll have a $1,000 deductible, and we don't want students to have to incur those costs. You do have national and international coverage. So if you decide to travel through the summer, you would have services outside of our country. You have a 24-hour emergency care hotline. All you would have to do is look at the phone number on your insurance card, and you have that at your availability 24 hours a day. Dependent enrollment is also available. You would just need to contact us at Cougar Health Services, and we can send you that enrollment form, or it is also available on our website. With your assistantship, you also have dental coverage. That dental coverage is through Delta Dental. Again, there's no paperwork. The dental coverage will be provided again by Delta Dental. You'll receive a MyWSU notice providing you with additional contact information once the enrollment is complete. And Lisa, can we go to the next slide, please? So our enrollment information, the coverage did begin August 15th. Actually, it began the 16th. And again, you'll be automatically enrolled. And then on or before September 1st, the enrollment will be completed. So, and I apologize for that lag time. It just takes time to get the enrollment over to us and get United Healthcare to update their information. Now, with that being said, if you need immediate attention or need to see a provider before you've received that enrollment information, please contact us at Cougar Health Services. You can email student.insurance@wsu.edu, and we can do what we call an emergency enrollment. So we can get your insurance in force through United Healthcare prior to that appointment. Again, if you have any questions, please call Cougar Health Services or send us an email at studentinsurance@wsu.edu. And we look forward to taking care of you this semester. Thank you, Lisa.
So Becky, there were a couple of questions in the chat. One question is, if they're on an assistantship, students don't have to, they're automatically enrolled. How do they know they're enrolled? Will they receive a card or anything in the mail?
So once, as I said, once the enrollment is complete, and it is about September 1st that everything is completed, the students will receive a MyWSU notice. It will give them information that they've been enrolled. It will also give them instructions on how to set up their account with United Healthcare. And they can access their insurance card. And through that account with United Healthcare, they'll also be able to see any claims that have been processed at that time, and also see their coverage benefits.
Thank you. The second question was graduate students on internships, not assistantships. Are they covered by the healthcare, or can they buy into that program?
So they can purchase into the program if they choose to. When they're on their assistantship, that is an option. They would just need to send me an email at student.insurance and at wsu.edu, and I can send those documents for them to enroll.
Great. Thank you very much, Becky. Next, we will turn it over to Bruce Williamson-Benavides, who is the graduate assistant through the graduate school, who is partnering with GPSA and the graduate school as a whole to deliver the professional development initiative.
There you go. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Lisa. Welcome to this virtual meet and greet session. Welcome to all the students to WSU. Welcome to grad school. My name, as Lisa mentioned, is Bruce Williamson-Benavides. I am a PhD student in the Molecular Plant Sciences program. And I am also the PDI graduate assistant. So I'm here to talk to you about the PDI, what we do, what we offer. The PDI, as Lisa mentioned, the Professional Development Initiative, is a partnership between the grad school and the GPSA, the Graduate and Professional Student Association. Our mission, I'm just gonna read it off the slide, is to provide programming and resources to prepare you, graduate and professional students, for academic and career success. Our goal is to ensure students have the skills, mindsets, knowledge necessary to succeed academically and professionally here at WSU and beyond. So in my very simple words, the PDI is here to help you develop some professional skills that you don't normally get to develop in normal conditions. For example, whenever you take classes, whenever you're in your office writing your dissertation, doing research, or in a meeting with your advisor. So that's why the PDI is very, very important, and it has actually become a university-wide program. Next slide, please. All right, so the format that we deliver all this through is mainly through workshops and institutional memberships. And the focus of these resources are for, number one, academic and career development. Number two, communication and collaboration. Number three, leadership and professionalism. And number four, personal well-being. So let's talk about the workshops. The workshops are normally in-person events, and we live stream to the different campuses, to the different research stations. But of course, this semester we're going online mode, virtual. So we have scheduled 22 events this semester, and there is a wide variety of topics, from how to write and apply to a prestigious fellowship. For those of you that are going to be teaching, TAing during your graduate program, we have actually scheduled, or we have 6 events that focus on improving your teaching skills. And we're going to have some other topics that we normally have every year, every 2 years, topics, important topics such as project and time management, entrepreneurship and patents, academic integrity, communication and presence in a professional environment, how to prepare for an academic career versus how to prepare for an industry career or non-academic career. So regarding the institutional memberships, we provide access to basically 3 different platforms. The first one, Grammarly, which I guess everybody's familiar with. Grammarly basically provides some online writing assistance and tools to detect plagiarism. And we also have 2 other platforms, the Cheeky Scientist and the Versatile PhD. Both of these basically provide advice and different resources on how to prepare for non-academic careers, for industry careers. So if you want to know more about these incredible resources, I encourage you to visit our website. It's down at the bottom of the slide, gradschool.wsu.edu/PDI. However, since we are so nice with you, we send emails every 1 or 2 weeks with all of these resources, upcoming events, what platforms are available, what memberships are available for you. So with that, I would like to finish with the next slide. Just basically, I want to give you a pic of the upcoming events, and I want to make emphasis on the first one. The first one on September 1st, which is the grad student prestigious fellowship workshop. I know many of the first year students are going to be applying to different fellowships from NSF, from USDA. So we're going to have this workshop for you. They're going to tell you how to prepare the application, and how to do it successfully. So with that, I would like to finish. I would like to take any questions if there are any, and go Cougs. I hope you enjoyed your time here at WSU.
Thank you, Bruce. I didn't see any questions. But again, feel free to email us if you come up with questions later. So our next presenter is Ken Lokensgaard to talk to us about the Native programs here on campus. Native American program, my apologies.
Thanks, Lisa. And hello, everybody. Like everyone else, I offer my welcome to you to WSU. So my name's Ken Lokensgaard. I'm from the Office of Native American Programs, which in turn is part of the Provost Office. So that means the work we do reaches across campuses. Although we do have, some support people at other locations if you're at one of those. We do quite a wide variety of things. We engage in tribal relations. We have the Center for Native American Research and Collaboration. We offer Native student support services, and we also have a curriculum that we offer to undergraduate students as well. So we're sort of all over the place. Next slide, please, Lisa. There we go. So it's important to recognize that WSU Pullman, the main campus, is located on the homelands of the Nimipu or Nez Perce and the Palouse peoples. And if you look in that lower corner, you'll see that the traditional lands upon which our other campuses are located as well. Now, this isn't just a token acknowledgement, as they sometimes are these days. What this means, particularly in our region, is that a lot of the work we do is work that impacts tribal land, especially watersheds, or which impacts tribal communities. By federal, state law, and university policy, and according to these regional treaties, work requires that we consult with tribes when we do those things. So it's really important to understand that tribal rights, extend off reservation to the locations where we're at, most of them at least, and that they're invested in the things that we do. Should add too that we have a memorandum of understanding with special agreement with 12 tribes in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. But of course, we serve all tribes in the region and elsewhere. Next slide, please. Here's our staff. Our executive director is Zoe Heigl-Strong. She's Nez Perce. She's also faculty in educational psychology. There's myself, Ken Lokensgaard, and all of my contact information. I'm easy to find online. I'm probably your best point of contact if you're a graduate student. But all of our staff are happy to assist you. We have Stephen Martin, who's Muskogee Creek and Choctaw. And Stephen is the Director of Native Student Services, primarily works with undergraduates, but again is happy to help you as well. We have Joelle Edwards, who's Chippewa, and she's our Native Retention Specialist. So she is essentially an advisor to the undergraduates. And then we have Patty Aiulo, our Fiscal Specialist. Next slide, please. So, besides being located on Nimipu and other lands, WSU really has quite a bit of engagement with tribes. There's a huge amount of funded research that is done collaboratively with our tribal partners. It totals quite a bit of money, not that that should be the rubric of things. There's especially a lot of health sciences research that goes on. We have probably, it's hard to say exactly this year yet, but I think we probably have about 800 Native American undergraduate students. And at last count, we had 109 graduate students, but I suspect that's a higher number right now. In the US, you should know there are 574 federally recognized tribes. The fact that they're federally recognized means that all these tribes are sovereign nations, sovereign entities. And here in Washington, we have 29 tribes. So there's quite a large presence. Next slide, please. So I mentioned earlier that there's federal, state law, and university policy and treaties that emphasize that we really need to consult with tribes when we're doing certain work. And here are those pieces of legislation. There's also a quote at the bottom of this page from Dwayne Champagne, who's a Native scholar who offers a lot of insight about what it means to do collaborative research with tribes. And And sometimes that requires a lot of work, but if you are somebody who wants to do collaborative work with a tribe, please contact me and I can provide you some guidance and contacts and so on. If you just need any advice whatsoever, and especially if you're an American Indian or Alaskan Native student, please reach out to me. Next slide, please. Following upon that, here's some resources for you. Again, as I just said, if you're an American Indian or Alaska Native student, give me a shout. I can put you in touch with other students. I'm there to help you with scholarships and opportunities, point you towards events here and in the region. My own work has a lot to do with Indigenous research methods, as does the work of Zoe Heigl Strong. So we're happy to talk to you about research projects and so on as well. So please give me a shout. You can also expect that I'll find most of you and you'll see an email from me inviting you for some more engagement. But of course, we're there to help all students. So as I mentioned earlier, if you're engaged in some research that may involve Native peoples, please give me a shout. Please have your professor reach out to us, and we're happy to help with that, and in fact would like to help. We do have a Native American Graduate Student Center on campus that is on the bottom floor of Cleveland Hall. Obviously, students can't take advantage of that this year in the ways that they have in the past. But if you're a student at Pullman and you do need access to it, there you can find a library and computer and printer and those sort of things. You can contact my colleagues, Stephen Martin or Joelle Edwards, and they can set up an appointment to give you access on a Monday or Tuesday. Those are the only days that they're in. The building is locked, so again, that has to be by appointment. And of course, social distancing protocols need to be followed and so on. But we're all available online anytime. If you are interested in events, whether you're a Native student or not, you can sign up for announcements for Native American program news. That comes out pretty often. It's a really good source of information. There's the link to the listserv. You can also find it at just Googling the WSU website, of course. Probably an easier way, though, is to like and follow the WSU Native Center Facebook page. Somewhat undergraduate oriented, but it really covers all of our events, and there's quite a few. Again, those will look a little bit different this year, but we often have quite a few Native speakers and performers and artists and just all sorts of things going on throughout the year. So pay attention if you're interested. And I should say too that it doesn't matter what your field is. There's important collaborative research being done. From the quote unquote hardest of the sciences to the humanities and everything in between. Good work is needed from every discipline, and it's especially needed from every perspective. So if you're a Native student, we really want to support you as strongly as we can so you can go out and meet your goals, whether those goals are to go into academia or serve your community or serve another community or what have you. Also online, you can go to our Center for Native American Research and Collaboration page. This is through the main website, native.wsu.edu. And you can find quite a few research resources, guidelines, as well as a list of articles and books and so on having to do with Indigenous research. If you are on the Vancouver campus, you might reach out to Steve Fountain, the Director of Native American Affairs there. But again, we work with all campuses. And finally, if you're in a health field in one of the allied health sciences, you should be aware that there's the Native American Health Sciences program that's based in Spokane. But again, they work across campuses. They're mostly there to support professional programs, but they do work with allied sciences as well, such as psychology and prevention science and all those sorts of things. And they're really good, really supportive, and we work closely with them. And there are many opportunities in the world of Native health. So contact them, contact me, and have a great year, as interesting as it will be. Thank you.
So our next speaker is Matthew Jeffries, and he's the director of GSORC. I'll let Matt have the joy of describing what GSORC is.
Yeah, thanks. Dean Gloss. Good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Jeffries. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I am the director of one of the longest department names probably on campus, but the Gender Identity, Expression, and Sexual Orientation Resource Center, affectionately referred to as GSORC. If you're ever spelling it, it's I before E, as in most rules in English. That's how I remember it and tell others. It's really an LGBT center, and we support queer students across all campuses and all sites. And so if you're at a research space, on the west side, we'll still want to connect with you and help however we can. Can I go to the next slide, please? So what's available? So when we're in person, there's usually a space. It's in the Compton Union building. It's this glorious place full of rainbows and light. It's one of the best views, I think, on campus. I see some people who are on the panel laughing because it's this great view of Kamiok Butte. If you've not been to Pullman, I'm sorry that that's not helpful probably, but it gives us great view of, the Palouse. And we're, normally full of people finding community, finding connection. But since we are more virtual this fall, we're doing lots of virtual events, which really supports all of our campuses and all of our sites. And so I'll drop this link. Our website is thecenter.wsu.edu, and we want you to find community. And so we'll be doing some events like Trivia Tuesdays, usually the first or second Tuesday of every month. We'll be doing some Netflix parties where we watch a movie together, very low risk because you just sign in and then you can chat, there's no video. And then we'll be doing some house parties through the House Party app. And again, I will drop the link to all of those in the chat when I'm done chatting with you all. Education, if you want to learn more about the LGBTQ+ community, especially if you're serving as a TA or if your interests lie in LGBTQ research, kind of like Ken had mentioned before, we are happy to help connect with you and help, brainstorm and think through what that project could look like. Currently, we're working with some Department of Psychology doc students on queer resiliency. And that's turned out to be a really cool project this fall that we're launching in tandem with them so they can get their research in and we can try some new stuff out from our center as well. If you identify as LGBTQ+ or are questioning, we can offer a lot of support, especially right now because everything's virtual. So shoot me an email. I will leave that also in the YouTube chat in a moment. And feel free to reach out and schedule some time. We can chat, through Zoom or via phone, and I can support however we can. A lot of times people have questions about our policies here, and so names in the system, Cougar cards, bathrooms. So you can have a chosen name if you have one. If you've not done a legal name change or don't plan to, you can have a chosen name in our systems by going through My WSU. You can have a Cougar card updated, also with a chosen name, no charge. And then our bathrooms and all that type of stuff within the state of Washington, the law is that you can use the bathroom that aligns with your gender identity. I also want to give a shout out to Becky and the Cougar Health Services team because they've done above and beyond for queer students who want to use Cougar Health Services in its full capacity. And so if you have any questions about that, you can let me know, or you can reach out to Cougar Health Services. I think the only thing I want to end with is please find your community here. If you're struggling to find that, please reach out to someone. That could be the graduate school, that could be me. I'm happy to connect with whatever interests you are. I think this virtual pandemic, the real pandemic and the virtual remoteness of everything has made some people feel lonely. And so find those that make you feel at home. And we're happy to do that in our center and through our activities. Otherwise, go Cougs.
Thank you, Matthew. There is one question in the chat. Does GSORC have resources, support groups, et cetera, specifically for graduate students?
That's a great question. So they don't necessarily have specific things for graduate students. Cougar Health Services and Counseling and Psychological Services has run 2 separate groups, one on gender identity and expression and one on sexual orientation. And we'll have more information about those shortly. So if folks subscribe to our newsletter, there'll be more information coming out about those. But if there are things that people need, I know Counseling and Psychological Services has been wonderful in working with us to create new initiatives to ensure we meet the needs of our students.
Great, thank you very much. And our next presentation will be from the Graduate Writing Center. So I'll turn it over to them.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm Lisa Johnson. I'm the Interim Director of WSU's Writing Program, and I'm going to introduce you to the services we offer to graduate students through the Graduate Writing Center. One thing that's pretty clear about scholarship or science is it's really not scholarship and science unless you write it down, unless you make it public, unless you publish it. And one of the things that we're here to do is to help you do that, whether we're helping you to write a seminar paper or to do a dissertation or a master's thesis, or even work on some of your teaching materials. The Graduate Writing Center is available. It used to be or will continue to be a walk-in service, but as of this fall, we've gone online. So I'll talk a little bit about that, but it's a free service. It's one-to-one tutoring. We will have some walk-in hours as well as appointment-based hours. The walk-in hours are Zoom meetings that are non-scheduled, but will be staffed by our wonderful graduate writing consultants. I'll talk through a little bit in a minute about how that all works. So we have expert consultants that work in the Graduate Writing Center. They come from various disciplines. We've had a graduate student in physics, graduate students in education, graduate students in computer science, graduate students in biology, as well as professionals from different disciplines who staff the Graduate Writing Center to work with you on your writing. We work with international and native English-speaking graduate students from all the disciplines. All types of writing are welcome. As I said, thesis, proposals, prelim papers, dissertations, cover letters, resumes, conference papers, teaching materials. So the best thing to make note of with this slide is the web page. That web page gives you the bulleted information that you can take to find out how to schedule an appointment. We use a scheduling software to schedule an appointment, and so you want to go in there, poke around, make sure that you are looking to see when we're available. Again, these will be over Zoom. We'll also use Google Docs and different ways to interact with your writing, so it isn't just a conversation, it's also a place where we can look at your writing with you. When you schedule an appointment as compared to a walk-in event, you'll send us your piece of writing ahead of time so the consultant will have a chance to look at it before the conversation to be able to give you some feedback at that time. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so the Graduate Writing Center consultants are really there to be sort of supportive. And again, at any stage of working on your paper, we're as much a listening service as we are a writing service. We're trying to help you think through what you're doing, organize what you're doing. And I do want to make a qualification here is that while this says we'll help you learn to revise and edit your writing, that's because we're not an editing service. We do have an editing service. The writing program has a professional editing service. That is something you have to pay for, while this is free, and this is largely designed to educate you to make your own corrections, to become the best writer that you can be, which is different than what the editing service does. We'll help you learn to paraphrase, to organize and structure your paper, help you learn to check for plagiarism, which is also related to issues of helping you summarize and paraphrase. We'll help you polish the drafts of your writing. So again, you know, the main thing I want to point you to is how to schedule an appointment, which is the WSU mywconline.com, but also just get to this through our website. I highly encourage you to go to the writing program website, poke around, see what we have available. And then we have the gwc.wsu.edu. I think that might have too many WSUs in it, but we can edit that email later. But again, if you are accessing the website, we'll get you where you need to go. I'll give you my personal email. It's lisaj@wsu.edu. And if you have any additional questions, I highly recommend that you send me an email. Any questions in the chat?
No, Lisa, I didn't see any questions. Thank you very much for that. And again, I encourage students to absolutely use the resources for the Graduate Writing Center. It's very valuable. Our next presentation will be from Clark Kagan on statistics, making them fun and useful, specifically Sizer.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. So I'm Clark Kogan, and I am the Associate Director for the Center for Interdisciplinary Statistical Education today, Education and Research. And I would like to welcome you all to graduate school. And in doing so, talk about statistical help that you can get on campus today. So I guess when I say on campus, I do want to say we are all completely remote now. So we are doing meetings remotely, and I'll talk a little bit about how you can get that sort of help. But what do we help graduate students with? We help graduate students with design and experiments. We help them with data analysis and statistical modeling, interpretation of the results from a statistical sense. And also, after publishing papers, we will help with reviewer comments. Next slide, please. So when should you get help? It's a good question. It's really highly recommended that you schedule 1 hour session with us when you're just beginning your research. Doing this can really help to avoid a number of issues that you can encounter or that we frequently see people encounter in their dissertation or thesis work. For instance, inadequate sample sizes, issues with properly controlling variability, issues in establishing interventional or causal effects in your research, and also the inappropriate application of statistical methods. So how do you set up an appointment with us? Well, you can log on to sizer.wsu.edu. I'd recommend that you go and log on now. Consider setting up an advance appointment just to get something on the calendar. You can schedule it for 6 months from now if you think you'll be potentially starting your research 6 months from now. We're really friendly, and we love to chat about your project. We're there to really ask questions, and you don't have to have the answers. We're just there to have that discussion and try to help figure out what are the most important questions that you should be asking in your work to be most efficient and effective. In addition to this, we've also recently started a statistics forum where we look at real world problems and trying to solve real world statistics problems online for an hour session every 2 weeks. And you can find information about that on our website. It'll give you an email contact where you can get added to the email list. That's a great resource to learn what problems come up in statistics that you might be facing and how different people ask questions in a smart way. And that's all I have for today. Thanks.
Thank you, Clark. Our next speaker is Holly Ashkanazad. And I'll let Holly say the name of the department because it keeps changing and it's now CCR, was CRCI.
Hi, thank you, Lisa. Again, my name is Holly Ashkanazad. I'm the Director of Compliance and Civil Rights Office, otherwise known as CCR, formerly the Office of Civil Rights Compliance and Investigation. Our recent name change is just to denote some expanded responsibilities for our office. We're covering a few more compliance areas now. We are here as a resource to all graduate students. So students, employees, visitors, others can report concerns about discrimination, discriminatory harassment, sexual harassment, and sex and gender violence, things like stalking, intimate partner violence, dating violence, domestic violence, and sexual assault to our office. There's a lot of support options for you. So if you have information and you want to share it with our office, or you know somebody who's experienced these concerns, you can contact us and we will send outreach to the person who had the concerns. We're available to consult with you. If you're not sure what you want to do and you're not sure what your options are, we can schedule a consultation and go through all of the reporting options and resource options that are available to you. We have a couple of options in our office now. for how to get information and responses from our office. So in general, if you're not sure what you want to do, reporting to our office is the best choice. We'll be available to consult with you and provide that information. But you can also file a formal complaint. A formal complaint, if it meets our standards under Executive Policy 15, the policy prohibiting discrimination and harassment, will automatically result in our office initiating a formal investigation or an informal resolution. An investigation into misconduct can lead to sanctions for either students or employees who are accused of the misconduct. If you would prefer to engage in an informal resolution, that's another option. That can look like a lot of different things, but essentially it's our office working with you and the person accused of misconduct to enter into some form of a resolution agreement. That resolution agreement can include provisions designed to punish the respondent if that's appropriate. It's a voluntary process, and we have staff that are available to speak with you about it. Next slide, please. For any concerns that you have, I just want to make it very clear that there are supportive measures available to you with or without filing a formal complaint. So if you're experiencing discrimination or harassment and you need to talk to somebody and you need help of some form, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office. In our Executive Policy 15, there are about 3 pages of different types of supportive measures that could be offered to you. Our goal is to help you be successful on campus and successful in your academic research, even if you're experiencing discrimination or harassment. So if something comes up, we have support for things like your academics, flexibility for that. We often engage in some creative problem solving to make sure that you feel safe within your program. We could provide referrals to care providers, both on campus and off campus. There's some specific services that are available for those of you who are in an employment situation. And we can also engage in a safety discussion with you if you have any safety concerns. For all of these, please know your needs might change over time. So our office has an open door. If you need help, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our website is pretty simple to remember, and I apologize I didn't put it on this slide, but it's at ccr.wsu.edu. So CCR standing for Compliance and Civil Rights. There's a lot of information on that website. You can always contact me directly. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Holly. And our last, but certainly not least, speaker is Lorena English from the libraries.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lorena English. I'm from the WSU Libraries. I'm a social sciences and government information librarian. And the first thing I wanted to say is what I'm saying right now is very different from what I would have said a year ago, or hopefully what I will be saying next year, because the libraries, we have our digital branch, of course, all our digital resources, but so much of what we are is our place. And of course, the libraries are closed for the fall semester. So I think what that means is you'll have new things to learn when the libraries are open, hopefully in spring. Okay, Lisa, next bullet, please. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have done fly-in bullets. So this is the webpage of the libraries. And of course, we do call it our digital branch because you'll be able to access virtually every resource that we have through the website. Next bullet. So I want to talk a little bit about librarians and library staff. And every time I have a little asterisk, that means that this is different than it would be if we were, kind of not dealing with a pandemic. But librarians and library staff are here for you. And the asterisk just means that you're going to interact with us in different ways, more via email, more via Zoom, maybe more via chat. But we are here for you. If you have any questions or any problems, don't hesitate to ask a question. I have to tell you that our access services person is probably truly amazing and will solve problems left and right. So we have people who are waiting to help you deal with any issues that you might have, getting the resources that you need for your own research and for your teaching if you're a teaching assistant. Next bullet. So first, books, because we are a library, you have access to millions of books through WSU and through our regional Summit system. And Summit basically enables you to check out books from libraries all over the Pacific Northwest, from Washington State, Oregon, and even the University of Idaho, 7 miles away. Because we're in a situation right now where you can't physically go in and get books, we have different modes for you to get what you need. One of these are physical lockers. If you are on the Pullman campus, you can arrange to have your book put in a locker and then go pick it up at your leisure. We also will mail books to you and provide return postage so that anything in our library is available for you. We have a lot of ebooks, and some books that were previously available in print are now available in ebook format through a partnership we have with the Hathi Trust. And we have reserves, of course, and no more physical reserves, at least for this semester. Everything runs through our Leganto e-reserve system, and I want to emphasize for students that are teaching assistants that this works in both Blackboard and Canvas, and is a really good way for students to be able to access anything that you want to put on reserve. Next bullet. We have extensive journal collections, lots and lots of online journals, but sometimes you might be doing more retrospective research for journals that aren't available online that maybe go back a bit. If we have a journal in the library, we will scan articles for you and send them to you. You don't even have to ask us to do it. If you don't have online access to a journal, put in an interlibrary loan request. If we have it, we will scan it and send it to you. If we don't have it, we will pursue interlibrary loan and make sure that you get the article. And our interlibrary loan service is really, really fast and very, very efficient. Next bullet. We have our library catalog, Search It, and Search It will give you access both to books and also to many, many journal articles as well, because we have basically a lot of buckets that are pouring journal citations into our library catalog. But I want to also emphasize our discovery databases, our disciplinary discovery databases in political science or English composition or whatever, that will help you find access to articles that you might not find in Search It, but that you will find through our disciplinary databases. Next bullet. Manuscripts, archives, and special collections. This is pretty much exactly what it says. Those of you who are doing historical research might be working with MASC. You might be having MASC teach classes if you want to work with students to help them understand how things work. We're doing this a little bit differently right now. My husband is the university archivist. I can tell you that he has bought a green screen and is trying to think about how we can take the resources that are, single, unique resources available in our collections and to make them available to you for your research and teaching needs. Next bullet. Finally, interlibrary loan. Interlibrary loan is free. And it's, like I said, really, really effective. Sometimes what happens is people say to themselves, if I don't have access to this journal immediately, it's not something I want. And I want to emphasize, first of all, that you'll get your journal through interlibrary loan probably within, I've gotten them 4 hours after I put the request in. Can't guarantee that all the time, but you'll usually have them well within 24 to 48 hours. If you're requesting something physical, a book or something else, it's going to take longer because it literally has to be mailed here. But again, we can get you virtually anything that you need through interlibrary loan, through our partnerships with other libraries across the country and even internationally. Next slide. We have librarians doing many different things. A lot of them are on the back end and you'll never see them, but I'm an example of a liaison librarian. If you're in political science or sociology or criminal justice or what's the other one? Sports studies, I'm the person you would go to. As you start thinking about finding resources for your dissertation, as you start thinking about papers that you have to write this semester or next semester, if you have questions about finding things, if you're not able to come up with good terms, or you're not sure that you're actually looking in the right place, come talk to your librarian and we will be able to help you find that information. We're available for research consultations. We're available for answering questions over email. We're available for answering questions over chat, etc. So we really are here for you, and we hope that you'll take advantage of us because, we may be able to save you a lot of time and a lot of spinning your wheels and enable you to, if we know what you're doing, we might be more likely to be able to be aware of new publications coming in that might fit your needs. Next bullet. In addition to working with you for your needs in research, those of you who are going to be teaching assistants, we also do library classes, and we will come into your class via Zoom. We will do something asynchronous via a screencast. We can do activities, we can do tutorials, we can do learning objects, we can do anything that would help basically make sure that students in your classes get the information that they need so that the papers that they write for you and the assignments that they write for you are better. And, for you too, as well, if in a class you see that a lot of people that you're taking, you see that a lot of people might have the same questions, you're welcome to contact a librarian or ask your professor to contact a librarian to schedule a class to go over some of the library issues with things that, that just might be kind of confusing. Next bullet. Okay, one of the things that we do is we support reference management tool support. And I'm just going to tell you right off that sometimes people ask me what my advice is for graduate students, and I have two really basic pieces of advice. First one is have 2 monitors. There's research out there that says you'll do better with 2 monitors, and it's really, really true. The second thing is use reference management software. I don't care what it is, Zotero, EndNote, Mendeley, Pages, ReadCube, whatever you want, but use something, please. Here at the WSU Libraries, we formally support Zotero. I'm the Zotero trainer, and also EndNote, but I can help you with a lot of other tools that aren't Zotero, Mendeley, etc. But seriously, if there's one thing that you can do at the start of your graduate career that will make a big difference, it's use reference management software. I've had students who got master's degrees and then came and told me that they realized that the thing that worked for them getting a master's degree was not scalable or sustainable as they got their PhD. And they realized that this was the time to really think about doing that. And so the libraries can help you with that. We teach classes, we can do one-on-one support, etc. Next bullet. Just so you know, now this isn't going to come into effect until Monday. No remote access until Monday for you when everything kind of gets loaded through the university system. But you can access our databases remotely if you're logged into the university VPN, Global Protect. Plus, we have a number of other library tools that will enable you to get full text of articles, even if you're not going there through the library page. Next slide. Or next, yeah. Something that I want to talk about very, very briefly is scholarly communication issues. When we think about scholarly communication, we think about how knowledge is created and shared in the disciplines. And we do that through journal articles and books, of course, but we do that through other ways as well. So the libraries is a really good place to learn about principles of scholarly communication, about open access. We're also here to help you if you are interested in creating open educational resources for a class that you might be teaching, so that students don't have to pay as much to get quality resources for their texts and other class content. Next bullet. Finally, more information. The first link that I've given you is the library homepage, our digital branch. The second link is a page that I've created, Getting Connected. And this has, always a project, a work in progress. But this is a good place to go to get a little bit more information about the things that I've talked to find the links for scheduling, getting into a Zotero EndNote class, for learning who your liaison librarian is, etc. All that information is also on the library's website, but I've kind of distilled a little bit of it more into the Getting Connected site. So we really are happy that you're here. We welcome the opportunity to provide you with resources and services. We hope that you'll take advantage of us librarians the most, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help you find the resources, help you track down the citations, help you find the stuff that you need to do the best possible work that you can. Thank you.
Lorena, there were a couple of questions in the chat. The first one was students trying to use Search It from their home computer and it doesn't work, but they can get access through their lab computer when they log in.
Oh, that's interesting.
They were wondering if that was because enrollment hadn't taken place or something more technical that they should email you about.
I think that's because enrollment hasn't taken place. Unless you were someone who had gotten an undergraduate degree or a master's degree at WSU within the last year, you probably will be able to have access. Oh, cute dog. But otherwise, you shouldn't have access till Monday. The lab computers, I'm thinking, might have some or other mode of accessing resources. They might be sort of pre-authorized, and that's something that actually can be a little bit maybe not so good of a thing too. But But if you're not, just wait until Monday. If you're not having access starting first thing in the morning on Monday, then you can contact us through our Ask Us service, it's all over the library homepage, or feel free to email me, English, that's O and then English like the language, at wsu.edu, and we'll work something out. But I'm pretty sure it's because the student load hasn't happened. It's kind of the tipping point for that.
Okay. The second question is, how long can I hold a borrowed book for?
Excellent. Okay, as graduate students, you can hold a book for a semester. But what we do is we actually load that a little bit more. So like when you start checking out books, next week, they actually won't be due back till like the end of January next year. You can renew your books as often as you want, unless, you graduate or someone else has requested the book. So you get it for pretty much a semester. And if no one wants that book, if you're doing something totally unique, you have it for the whole semester. Now, the difference is if you get a book through Summit. If you order a book through Summit, you have it for 6 weeks and you cannot renew it. Interlibrary loans can be variable because we don't actually, obviously articles you get to keep, book chapters, they come in files, you get to keep them. But if you ordered something that was a physical media, like a data set on tape or a book, the renewals are based upon the library who loaned it to us. And as long as you ask in advance of the day that it is due, we might be able to get you a renewal, a second renewal on that. I know from hard experience that if it's already overdue, they're not likely to give it to you for a little bit longer.
And one last question, Lorena. Is there any way to access journal articles directly from Scopus and or Springer with the WSU email account?
Yes, Scopus, not so much. We are actually a Web of Science campus. If you have Scopus access from another institution, go you. But we work with Web of Science and other databases. But yes, there's a number of different ways. First of all, if you're going through the library's website, you'll already have logged in with your network ID and password, so you will have access, no problem. We also have a proxy bookmarklet. Somebody sends you, say, a JSTOR link in an email. You click on it, you're like, oh, paywall. Actually, you use our little proxy bookmarklet, and then if the library has access, you have access. We also have a new tool called LibKeep Nomad, and if you use Edge or Firefox or Chrome, it is something that will follow you around, not collecting data, trust me on that. And if you find something, it will actually go ahead and give you knowledge, sort of give you access invisibly. If you're using Google Scholar, on the Getting Connected page, there's information on setting up Google Scholar for the WSU libraries, because that will kind of set you up so that if you find something in Google Scholar, you'll see a Find It at WSU link, which is our method of actually going from the citation in a database to actually the full text article, wherever it might be coming from. So I hope that answers your question. There's a number of different modes. The way that will always work automatically is if you're logged into the WSU VPN. But the other ways work as well and are very, very successful.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So this ends our presentation. I hope it's been educational. It certainly has been educational for me in the tricks and not to-dos of screen sharing. So I apologize when the screen would flash or I'd get the wrong, but as Lorena pointed out, at least you get to know that I have cute dogs. So with that, that concludes our presentations. I'm not seeing any more questions come up in the chat. So thank you all. And again, welcome to WSU. And the way we always close things, go Cougs.